The Stoic path to unshaken integrity, when good intentions are misunderstood. In a world brimming with opinions and judgments, it's almost inevitable that our actions, no matter how well-intentioned, will sometimes be misconstrued. We strive to do good, to help, to contribute positively, yet we occasionally find ourselves facing suspicion, doubt, or even outright criticism. This can be a deeply frustrating experience, leading to self-doubt and a desire to retreat. However, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a powerful framework for navigating such challenges, guiding us to an inner peace that remains unshaken by external perceptions. This article, inspired by a profound insight from a recent YouTube short, delves into how we can embrace Stoic principles to maintain our integrity and equanimity when our good intentions are misunderstood. The inevitability of misinterpretation. Human perception is a complex and often flawed mechanism. Each individual views the world through the unique lens of their experiences, biases, and current emotional state. What seems clear and benevolent to us might appear suspicious or self-serving to another. This isn't necessarily a reflection of our character, but rather a testament to the diverse and often unpredictable nature of human psychology. When we offer help, extend kindness, or make a decision we believe is for the greater good, we often expect a certain level of understanding or appreciation. When that expectation is unmet, and instead we are met with skepticism, it can feel like a personal attack. Yet Stoicism teaches us to recognize that the opinions and judgments of others are external to us, and therefore beyond our direct control. Epictetus on suspicion and distorted thinking. One of the most profound insights into this human tendency comes from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. As highlighted in the YouTube short, he wisely observed, "Some people are like that. Their whole lives are full of suspicion. They think everyone around them is plotting against them, which often isn't true. But it's their own distorted thinking that causes it." This quote is a cornerstone of our understanding. It reminds us that the suspicion we encounter often originates not from our actions, but from the internal landscape of the other person. Their distorted thinking, their past traumas, their insecurities, or their cynical worldview can project negative motives onto even the purest intentions. Recognizing this shifts the burden of responsibility. It's not about us being inherently flawed. It's about their internal struggle. This understanding is liberating, as it allows us to detach from the need to constantly defend ourselves or change others' perceptions. The dichotomy of control, focusing on what we can control. The core of Stoic philosophy lies in the dichotomy of control, the fundamental principle that some things are within our power and others are not. Our actions, our thoughts, our intentions, these are within our control. The opinions, reactions, and judgments of others, these are not. When our good intentions are misunderstood, the natural inclination is to try and correct the perception, to explain, to justify. However, this often leads to frustration because we are attempting to control something inherently uncontrollable. The Stoic approach is to acknowledge the misunderstanding, but then to redirect our focus inward. Did we act with integrity? Were our motives pure? If the answer is yes, then the external judgment becomes irrelevant to our inner peace. Our virtue is its own reward, independent of external validation. Acting with integrity, the Stoic virtue. The video emphasizes the importance of acting with integrity and helping others genuinely. This aligns perfectly with Stoic virtue ethics. For a Stoic, the highest good is virtue, which is living in accordance with reason and nature. This means acting justly, courageously, wisely, and with temperance. When we act with integrity, our actions are aligned with these virtues, regardless of how they are received. The act of helping, when done genuinely, is a virtuous act. The reward is not the appreciation or understanding of others, but the knowledge that we have acted rightly. This internal reward is far more stable and fulfilling than any external praise, which can be fleeting and conditional. If someone misinterprets our genuine help as a ploy or a manipulation, it is their error, not ours. Our duty is to act virtuously, The outcome of how others perceive it is not our concern. The danger of over-accommodation and people-pleasing. Another crucial point raised by the short is the potential pitfall of being overly helpful or accommodating. While kindness is a virtue, excessive people-pleasing can stem from a desire for external validation, which is a dangerous path for a Stoic. When we constantly adjust our behavior to manage others' perceptions, we lose our authentic self and become slaves to external opinion. This is contrary to the Stoic ideal of inner freedom and self-sufficiency. The Stoics would argue that true generosity comes from a place of inner strength and a clear understanding of our values, not from a desperate need to be liked or understood. If our helpfulness is driven by a fear of being misunderstood, we are already compromising our integrity. Instead, we should help because it is the right thing to do, because it aligns with our values, and then let the chips fall where they may. Cultivating indifference to external opinion. To truly embody the Stoic response to misunderstanding, we must cultivate a healthy indifference to external opinion. This does not mean becoming callous or uncaring about others. Rather, it means recognizing that our inner peace and self-worth should not be contingent upon the approval or understanding of others. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, often spoke about the importance of living for oneself, not for the crowd. He encouraged us to find our judge within, to measure our actions against our own moral compass rather than the fickle standards of society. When we are secure in our own virtue, the whispers of suspicion or the shouts of criticism lose their power over us. We become like a rock in the ocean, unmoved by the waves crashing against it. Practical Stoic exercises for dealing with misunderstanding. So how can we practically apply these Stoic principles in our daily lives when faced with misunderstanding? 1. Premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils. Before engaging in actions where misunderstanding might arise, mentally prepare for the possibility. Acknowledge that not everyone will understand or appreciate your motives. This practice helps to inoculate you against the sting of misinterpretation when it occurs, as you have already considered it as a potential outcome. It shifts your reaction from surprise and hurt to acceptance and resilience. For example, before offering help, consider that it might be rejected or misinterpreted, and mentally affirm your commitment to acting virtuously regardless of the outcome. This doesn't mean expecting the worst, but rather being prepared for various outcomes. 2. Amor fati, love of fate. While this concept is often applied to larger life events, it can also be adapted to our reactions to others' perceptions. When misunderstanding arises, instead of fighting against it or wishing it hadn't happened, embrace it as part of the natural order of human interaction. Accept that some people will simply not see things your way, and that is okay. This acceptance frees you from the emotional burden of trying to force a different reality. It allows you to move forward with peace, knowing you have done your part and the rest is beyond your control. 3. Negative visualization. Imagine what it would be like if you constantly sought external validation and were consumed by others' opinions. Visualize the anxiety, the loss of autonomy, and the constant striving. This exercise helps reinforce the value of internal validation and the freedom that comes from focusing on your own integrity. It makes the alternative seem less appealing and strengthens your resolve to adhere to Stoic principles. 4. The view from above. This exercise involves stepping back and viewing your situation from a broader cosmic perspective. Does this misunderstanding truly matter in the grand scheme of things? Will it affect your core values or your ability to live a virtuous life? Often, when we zoom out, the perceived slight or misinterpretation shrinks in significance, allowing us to regain perspective and emotional distance. The unshaken self. In conclusion, the journey to an unshaken self, impervious to the misunderstandings of others, is a core tenet of Stoicism. It is not about becoming indifferent to humanity, but rather about cultivating an inner fortress of virtue and reason. When our good intentions are misunderstood, we are called not to despair or to change who we are, but to reaffirm our commitment to integrity. We focus on what is within our control, our actions, our motives, our character, and release our attachment to what is not, the opinions and judgments of others. By embracing the wisdom of Epictetus and other Stoic philosophers, we can navigate the complexities of human interaction with grace, maintaining our inner peace and continuing to act virtuously, knowing that our true reward lies not in external appreciation, but in the quiet satisfaction of a life well lived. This path leads to a profound sense of freedom, allowing us to contribute our best to the world without being derailed by the inevitable currents of misinterpretation. It is the path of the truly unshaken, the truly free. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Stay stoic.